Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we unpack the true meaning behind official corporate announcements. And let's just say today's report has a few big surprises tucked away. This filing details a crucial moment for ZimVie Incorporated, a company that has been making waves in the medical technology space, especially with their surgical and spine solutions. Today we're examining their latest report to understand exactly what is happening behind the scenes as they navigate a significant change. Alright, what we have here is a Form 8K filing from ZimVie Incorporated. Think of an 8K as a company-S way of telling the public about major events that shareholders absolutely need to know about right away. It is not a routine report like a quarterly update. This is for the big stuff. The date on this report is the 10th of October 2025, and importantly, the earliest event it talks about happened on that same day. This means we're getting very fresh news directly from the company. The company in focus is ZimVie Incorporated, a name you might recognize if you follow the healthcare industry. They operate in a competitive field offering products for surgeries and spine treatments. They are incorporated in Delaware, which is pretty standard for large US companies. Their principal executive offices are located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. And good old customer service is available at 800-342-5454 if you needed to reach them for any reason related to this report, though we won TB digging into their customer service today. Now, let's talk about what is being traded. Their common stock trades under the symbol ZimVie on the Nasdaq stock market. This is the main way investors can buy and sell pieces of the company. The meat of this report, the real story, is under this section talking about a vote by the company's shareholders. This is where things get interesting because it details the outcome of a major decision. So, way back in July, ZimVie announced they would be entering into a merger agreement. In simple terms, this means they agreed to be acquired. This is usually a pretty big deal for any company, and especially for its shareholders. And the report confirms that the final approval for this merger came about on the 10th of October at a special meeting of the stockholders. This is not a small informal decision. This is a formal process that requires shareholder consent, especially for something as significant as a merger. To give you some context, on the record date, there were nearly 28.2 million shares outstanding. These are the shares that represent ownership in ZimVie Incorporated. And look at this. A whopping 73.38% of all those shares were represented at the meeting. This tells us that a very large majority of the owners of ZimVie were paying attention and participated in this crucial vote. That is a strong turnout and indicates significant shareholder engagement. The very first item on the agenda, and the most important one, was to approve the merger agreement itself. This is the cornerstone of the entire deal. And the result for this proposal, a landslide victory, over 20.6 million shares voted in favor of the merger. That is an overwhelming endorsement showing that the majority of shareholders believe this merger is the right move for the company. When you see numbers like this, it signals strong confidence from the owners. The second item was a bit different. It was an advisory vote, meaning it is non-binding on the compensation for the top executives tied to the merger. Essentially, shareholders were asked if they thought the golden parachutes were reasonable. While this also passed, the vote here was much closer than for the merger itself. Almost 17 million shares were in favor, but significantly over 3.6 million shares voted against it. This is a clear message to the executive team that while shareholders approved the deal, they are watchful about executive rewards, especially during such a transformative event. It is a sign that shareholders want to see fair compensation, not excessive payouts. Interestingly, they also had a plan in place to postpone the meeting if the merger vote wasn't going to pass. This is a common practice to give companies more time to convince hesitant shareholders. However, since the merger proposal passed so overwhelmingly, this adjournment proposal never needed to be used. That reinforces how strong the support for the merger was. This section confirms that a press release was issued on the 10th of October to announce these voting results to the public. This is standard practice to keep everyone informed. The press release itself is part of the exhibits, which basically tells us the company is communicating these important outcomes transparently. And lastly, this part just lists the exhibits included with the filing pointing to that press release. Now, let's zoom out and look at what this all means. ZimVie Inc. is being acquired. The shareholders have given a resounding thumbs up to the deal, which is great news for the company as it means this transition can proceed smoothly and without further major shareholder hurdles. The overwhelming support for the merger agreement proposal signals that the terms presented were seen as beneficial or at least acceptable to the vast majority of investors. However, the advisory vote on executive compensation is a bit of a mixed signal. While it passed, the number of dissenting votes suggests a segment of shareholders is keeping a close eye on how leadership benefits from this transition. In the world of corporate finance, this kind of scrutiny means executives need to be mindful of shareholder perception and ensure that their compensation is clearly tied to the value created and not seen as excessive. What does this acquisition mean long-term for ZimVie, S products, or the medical field generally? Well, the report doesn't detail the acquiring company, but usually mergers aim for benefits like increased market share, cost savings through combined operations, or access to new markets or technologies. For investors, this often means their shares are bought out at a premium, providing a return on their investment. For employees, it can mean adjustments as the companies integrate. Looking at the broader picture, ZimVie has successfully navigated the crucial shareholder approval stage of this merger. The immediate risk of the deal falling apart because of a shareholder vote has been cleared. The next steps will involve the actual completion of the merger, which will mean ZimVie as an independent publicly traded entity will cease to exist. The focus now shifts to the execution of the merger and how the combined entity will operate and grow in the competitive medical technology sector. So, to wrap up, ZimVie Incorporated has received the green light from its shareholders for a major merger. While the path ahead involves integration and potential changes, the immediate hurdle of shareholder approval has been cleared with strong support. The advisory vote on executive pay is a subtle reminder that transparency and value alignment remain key. Alright, that is our breakdown of this 8K filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for ZimVie? As future, drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching, see you next time.